Hi again, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Today, I've got Richard with me. Richard is a hardworking family man and husband. He also has his own business and runs his own marketing agency. So, Richard, how are we doing today?
Good, we're good. Yeah, Thursday morning. Thursday morning feels like Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and Monday morning at the moment. So it's it's all a bit strange in these times. But yeah, all good. I'm up. I'm showered. I've been to work. Nothing changes.
Brilliant. And so, by the sounds of things, motivation levels are good at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of business owners, if you're passionate and love what you do, then motivation is never a problem. I think if you don't love what you do, getting up in the morning can be quite hard work. Certainly if you're in tough times in your business. But yeah, no, all things are good at the moment. So yeah, motivation levels are high. How about you?
Yeah, very good on my part. I think a lot of it is to do with this project that I've taken upon myself, and kind of gave myself a target, which is quite a big one. But
what's your target, Jerry?
I want to hit 100 people by the end of lockdown.
Okay.
We're about 35, and the diversity has been amazing. The different amount of people, and I really do appreciate you allowing me to not only talk to yourself, but talk to some of your members of one of your groups that you've got online, which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook groups and all social media groups really have been really good through this lockdown and this period, because everyone's at home, everyone's online, everyone's talking, sharing their issues and what their successes are in their business, and more importantly, what their issues are as well. And I think from a community, it's always good to help and see what we can do. So no problem at all, mate. No problem at all.
Thank you. So let's start with business and we'll move on.
Okay.
With what you're going on right now, I suppose lockdown hasn't had an effect on what you do. It's having an effect on who you do it for, right?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, it's had an effect on what I do and who I do it for, because certain clients that I had physically can't work. So where I look after a lot of social media clients, social media, Facebook clients is a big area of what I do. And I manage their Facebook accounts, LinkedIn accounts, Instagram, and where they physically can't work, some have just said, let's put a hold on things, which is totally understandable. Then there's other clients that said, I wasn't really doing a lot now because I had a lot of work. Now I need work. Can we ramp things up? So it's kind of gone a little bit like that. Some of the clients I haven't spoken to for a long time said, look, business was great. You got us where we need to be. We kind of stopped doing the marketing because we had so much work on. Now we need to ramp it back up. And then, as I say, there's other people that just said, right, let's just stop everything because, the funds are tight. But I think Henry Ford once said is that the man who stops advertising to save money is the man who tries to stop a clock to save time. So it's one of them things that when the chips are down, you need to go all in. There's financial constraints around that, so it's difficult. It's difficult for everybody.
I massively agree with what you said there, and Henry, of course. I think now's the time you've got a captive audience, especially when it comes to social media. And if you do have a product or you do have something that is going to help serve that community, I probably wouldn't personally, what I do at the moment, focus on trying to make sales as such, but delivering value, giving people a little bit of almost hope, and just putting across there a little bit of information about your business that has helped them in the past, gives them a level of reassurance that you're still going to be there in the end, And I think now is probably the worst time to stop marketing, even if it's only organic.
And it's brand. You can build a brand. I mean, these times for brand building and authority building is a huge opportunity. For people that haven't got much of an online presence, to start coming out, start commenting in groups, start making themselves known, start doing podcasts, videos. Being part of an online community, because it's all we can do sometimes. And it's not the time to sit at home and watch Jerry Springer. Is Jerry Springer still on? I don't know. I don't watch daytime telly.
I know Jerry East is.
Yeah. Now's a home to stay at home and watch Jerry East, not Jerry Springer.
There you go. There you go. I'd love that. So I suppose for you then, you're really having to kind of dig deep and be really innovative for your clientele right now, because no one's ever seen this before. So how do you react?
No, but we've all gone through various stages in our business, you know, and a business is like, you know, you have your business, you're really passionate at the start, you know, it's this new baby that you got, and you're trying to get it out there to the world. Then you have a couple of bad months and you hate on your business a little bit, and then you go back and things are good. The thing about being employed is it's generally kind of like that. A little bit up, a little bit down, you know, the same. When you're a business owner, it's like that. You're up, you're down, and you have to be a business owner, to have an entrepreneurial mind, you have to have some resilience about you. You have to have, you know, the ability to bounce back when the times are down, and to diversify, because we have it all the time, you know. And certainly in the early stages of business, when you're growing, and when it's generally just you, when you start a business, that's the time where it's very much up and down. So yeah, it's just about being diverse and rolling with the times, really. And I think I had this conversation over LinkedIn last night with somebody, that we had the panic stage, and then we had the I'm going to feel sorry for myself stage, and then we had the let's go out and make stuff happen stage. And I think we're in the let's go out and make stuff happen stage now. I can see from the activity this week, from the inquiries, for the people that want to have conversations, for that we're in this. We now need to go and do stuff.
Yeah,
because I think the mindset has changed massively this week. Even, you know, I'm staying indoors, going to the shops once a week. You know, gloves on, mask on, whether that's right or wrong, it depends on what post you read or hear.
Okay.
Wearing gloves. I go to the supermarket once a week. I get a meat delivery once a week and a fruit and veg delivery once a week. But having a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, apparently the meat delivery won't pick up size 4 Pampers, so you have to go to the supermarket. But just seeing the difference in the amount of people that were there yesterday in work clothes, and the difference in the attitude from last week, it's like, you know, we're in whatever week we are now through this pandemic. It seems to be like people have said, right, I'm back to work now and I'm back to normal, and they've kind of ignored what's going on outside. And then you read the reports, and it's 700 plus people that have died the next day, and you just think, well, that person in Sainsbury's that was leaning over someone to get something and hurrying by and almost pushing past people, which wasn't like that last week. And then you see the roads are slightly busier. It's a strange one. Yeah.
Well, you know, as you say, like I was in the where was I this morning? I was actually in the post office this morning,
right?
And we had exactly that going on. We were social. Like, everyone was distancing 2 meters apart. I had to go there. All of my business posts had been stopped because I own a gym. The government had stopped it. I didn't stop it. Well, they didn't realise I've still got a maintenance guy going in, because he's literally the only person in the gym. So what we did is we closed up shop. We didn't allow anyone in or out, and we just had him going in after 2 weeks. Where I think that's like the full lifespan that this virus can survive for.
Yeah.
So he's been the only person going into the back half of the gym, and I've been coming into the front half of the gym like once a week for admin, and that's it. Which now I've moved back home. So long story short, because I'm waffling on a bit, we still could have had our post coming in during the week, which would have been fine, but it's been shut off by the government. So I had to go to the post office, and you could see that everyone was doing the right thing. And there was about 6 people in the queue, and this was 10 to 7 this morning. And then suddenly about 4 people just turned up, back nose to back, you know, bam, 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 bam. And one guy's really close to me, behind me, and I said, look, I don't really care what you believe, but I believe in social distancing. So in the nicest possible way, could you move back? And he kind of sparked off a bit of, well, it's all a hoax and all this. I said, that's what you believe. Okay, that's fine. I was very polite, very nice. That's not what I believe. If you could, go away, go away. And all four of them kind of just budged backwards a bit because they knew I didn't want them near me. But that's the problem that we've got right now. As you said, people leaning over, that's what's going to cause issues if we go back to work too soon. And there's even a petition right now for people to reopen gyms. And even if that was passed, there's no way I'm opening that. And I think people have to be a lot more realistic about this right now, because people are ignoring the facts because they want to earn money.
Yeah,
you've got to choose health over that every time.
Well, and also what I don't understand is if we get a second spike and then we take another 6 weeks lockdown, it's going to affect you financially a lot more than having an extra 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever it is, and unfortunately gyms, bars, restaurants are going to be one of the last back because they're non-essential, and we've got to just roll with it. We've just got to, that is what it is. No one planned this. I'd like to say no one brought this on us, but we can't say 100% for that. But that's probably for another podcast, another day.
The conspiracy.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, we just have to, just got to do what we've got to do, and we've got to do what we've got to do for our own individual businesses, and like you said, our own individual personal circumstances. So if this is what you believe, that's what you do. If this is what the government advised for your business, that's what you do, and you just adapt your business for it. So so if you're a pub and a restaurant, you start doing takeaways. If you're a gym, you put on home workouts and keep your members happy, or build your brand, or whatever you do. There's always a way to make money in business, whether you're a physical bricks and mortar business or you're a online business. That you can always diversify. I've had lots of people coming to me that want to put on creating online courses, and online memberships, and we're building membership platforms because they see the value of that recurring revenue where they didn't see it 3 months ago, because they had a physical business, a bricks and mortar business where income was coming in through the door, and that was their recurring revenue. When that drops, now you have to diversify. And lots of people wanting to build sales funnels, and people coming to me and say, I want to build a marketing funnel in my business. And I was like, you've been gelling up at home because 2 months ago you didn't even know what Facebook was, and now you want to build complex marketing systems, which is great. People are educating themselves, and understanding what they need to do to make things happen. So, yeah.
Well, I can definitely resonate with that. We've always used a form of marketing funnel when it's come into our membership and ways that we, collect data and stuff. But now I'm now looking to ramp that up, but not necessarily to sell anything. I think at the moment, in what I do, we've got Joe Wicks on TV. We've got a lot of people that are serving at the best of their ability. We're putting on 5 sessions a day, completely free of charge, for motivational reasons. But what we do want to do is probably more collect data just so we can keep serving beyond this, as well as obviously marketing our product for later, but not because we are bricks and mortar. You can't use a gym, so there's no point.
So you're in the list building phase. So you've got your business, you've got your core members, customers that you're keeping. So you're in their mind's eye for when you come back, and now you're building your list. So when you do come back, you come back in a stronger position. Which is good. That's where you need to be. You need to come out of this in a strong position. And it's the people that are forward thinking, I think, that we really will. And then there's going to be, it's very sad, but there's going to be lots of businesses that don't survive this. Lots of bricks and mortar, and and for anybody watching doesn't know bricks and mortar, it's a physical building where you've got like a gym or a shop or a pub or a restaurant. There's going to be people out there that are unfortunate, that have got landlords that have got mortgages that can't get a mortgage break, that are still charging them rent. If you've got a pub and you're being charged $3,000 a month because it's a big pub, and you're down for 6 months and you're paying $18,000 out in rent, you might not survive from that. And in fact, you might have decided already that we weren't in the best of shape. We can't afford, to keep paying out $3,000 to $5,000 a month while we're down. We're shut now, and then, unfortunately, there'll be businesses that just won't reopen. And that's the reality of it. And there's, obviously there's help from the government as much as you can, but yeah, it is. You just got to do what you got to do that's right for you, and spend a bit of time in that kind of processing stage. So I suppose when we talked earlier about being the three stages, the panic, the panic, the sort of shut yourself away, now we can kind of add in the thought process time, the planning stage, and now we're in the go stage. So yeah, it's definitely time now to make a move. If anyone's thinking, what can I do? There's always something you can do in your business to make money and to build a list. Because you've got to kind of come through this pandemic, COVID-19, whatever the way you're terming it. You want to come through is one, that you're healthy and safe, and your family's healthy and safe, and you've done everything you can to stop the spread. I think that's number one for everyone, before business, before anything, is that's got to. Number two, you've got to make sure you're financially secure within your family, so your bills are paid, you're not worrying and stressing, because that can be, worry and stress can also be a sort of silent killer as well.
Yeah.
And then number four, you need to make sure that your business is as healthy as possible by thinking, what can I do to come out of this in a stronger position? And there will be people watching and listening to this that think, oh, well, there's nothing I can do. We do da 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 da. But I've seen everything. Podiatrists that are doing online courses. You've got, pubs that are built. I've got a client. I run a mastermind group where we meet once a month, and we sit down and we all talk around the table, and we help. We have a subject which I chair, and we grow everyone's business. And one of the members there is a brewery, lots of breweries shutting the doors, but he's out there and he's doing delivery, and he's actually taking, good money, and he's building up his business. You've got videographers, I speak to some that say, well, I can't do anything. I can't go out and I can't shoot, so my business is over. And then you've got others that are saying, I'm ramping up my editing, I'm doing animation, I'm doing this, and actually I've got more work than when I started, and everyone else in between. So I'm definitely of a belief that whatever business you are, you can make as much money by diversifying and come out of this in a stronger position.
Yeah, I think so. There's a couple of trainers at my facility that are actually earning more during this. I've chosen the route of serving and more building brand right now, as opposed to making short-term cash. Because
if you can do that, and you can afford it, and you've got the cash flow in your business and your personal life, by building for the future is better than building for the right now.
Yeah.
But I think some people need to do both to, keep them in survival. Yeah, definitely.
You're doing a fantastic job, but I completely agree that there are things that you can do. And even the everyday person, you're in a position now, if you've ever had that idea where you want to start a business, if you want to do something, instead of just trying to complete Netflix or the Disney Plus, just take a couple of hours a day for yourself and give it a go. Start even asking questions, become members of groups like the one that Richard owns, which we will put a link in the show notes if you are in Essex and you do own a business and you'd like to be part of that group, which is fantastic, by the way. And I wish I'd been more vocal in it earlier. So let's move away from business now. Let's have a little chat about what's it like at home. How are you getting on?
Yeah, it's working at home has its advantages and has its disadvantages. The advantages are, it took me about 30 seconds to get to work today. I had to literally walk from one room to the other. I'm in my spare room, which I converted to my office. I do a lot of work at home, so this is literally is a room in my house. I have my board, which I do, which is great because I can do my strategy sessions. So I'm forever turning around and drawing marketing funnels, and this is where you want to go, and explaining to people how it works. And that actually has worked really well, and I'll be doing more of those when we come out of lockdown, because actually it does work really well, and you can get through more. So the advantages are you can actually get more done, and if you go to a meeting, so I'm going to drive to a meeting, it's going to take me half an hour to get there. I then got 5 minutes parking, then I've got to walk to the venue if it's a coffee shop or a client's office. You then sort of generally queue up for your coffee, and then you can have a bit of chit chat, and then have your meeting, and then you've got to walk back to your car, go home, drive to the next one, whatever it is. You can be spending 2 or 3 hours having a 45-minute meeting. So by having a series of Zoom calls, you get to the point quicker. You don't have to queue for the coffee, and so so productivity can go up. Obviously, you can't beat face to face meeting people, building that rapport. But I think actually, if you get your Zoom calls right and you get whatever platform you want to use, you've got the tools, and you make it so you're not staring up at someone's nose, and you've got your whether you've got your branding or whatever, you can actually look quite good. Get your lighting right, get your sound right, do your hair. I haven't got a lot really to do, so it doesn't take me long. So that's the advantages, The disadvantages is that you're at home, there are distractions. I have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, so I do get from time to time suddenly the door open when I'm in the middle of a conversation, and even though you say I'm going to do a call now, but sometimes I have 8 calls in a day.
They don't listen.
You can't tell a 3-year-old to Daddy's on another Zoom call. Can you make sure that you don't shout and scream and murder your big brother? So it has its disadvantages. Also, I'm eating more. Because I generally will have 3 meals a day at home, which I don't when I'm out and about. I'll have a later breakfast and then something when I get home. But now it's lunch break. Now I'll go downstairs and I'll cook something, and I might have some little dessert with that. And I've managed to not have a dessert with breakfast yet, so I'm doing well. But by this time, and that's the other thing, everyone's eating more. They're going to need more gyms, Jerry. So you're going to be really busy. But yeah, so advantages and disadvantages and distractions as well. The other thing, having a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and all the family, obviously my wife here as well, is that sometimes you do want to go down. You hear them laughing and joking downstairs, and you go on and see what's going on. And the next thing you know, you're giving them elephant rides around the house, and you think, shit, what should be doing that? I've got a funnel to build, or I've got this and that. So, but yeah, you've got a balance. I think it's going to be very different when, I don't think schools are going to go back till September. I think that's pretty much a given now. I think it'll be quite different when I'm going to try and do more of this Zoom type meetings and less there's face to face. Still want to do the face to face, and it's great to catch up with people. But from a productivity side, it's going to be quite strange when the schools go back and I'm not having to go, right, I'm going on another call. Yeah. Make sure, give me half hour, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. So that's. But yeah, all good.
I think there's going to be a whole new way, because I think a lot of people at the beginning, before they adapted, were really struggling having the kids around all the time. I know my wife has been a lot stronger than me when it's come to being able to adapt quickly, but everyone's going in waves. But I think we could even have the opposite of that when the kids are no longer in the house and it's quiet, and because we've adapted to the way it is now, we've then got to readapt to the way life was, because we're never going to go back to that, but the new norm, when the kids are slowly going back to school and we don't have all that noise, excitement, we can't just go and lay on the sofa and cuddle our kids whenever we want to, and I think that there's going to be a whole new wave of maybe kind of people mentally not being able to cope with that as well. So I think
mental health is such an overlooked part of society. We talk about it a hell of a lot more than we have done in the past. We even go 10 years, we talk about it a lot more, but mental health in these times is going to be testing. When you hear things about the domestic abuse rate going up, and you just think, how many people are sitting there suffering in silence, because even our 93-year-old next door neighbour, her one thing a week is going up to getting on the bus and going into Brentwood High Street, which is a weekly a weekly thing, you know, even that, by not having that, by that taken away, is having trouble on your mental health. And
One element of freedom, yeah.
you know, and
Scary.
even just popping out the front to, you know, to say hello to our kids and things like that, which she's not been able to do, you know, and give the kids a cuddle and come and say hello to our dogs, and that is, you kind of don't see that as a big issue. But when that's what you've got in your life, and your kids that pop over once or twice, 3 times a week, whatever it is, when you've not got that, it's difficult. But there's still there's still, you know, you still do see people's families turn up and, you know, sitting in the garden and having barbecues and all sorts that you hear about, don't you? So, but like you said, I think it's going to be, we're not going to go back to the ways that we were. It's not going to be the same. Life's not going to be the same. But then, you know, life is there to evolve. You know, life wasn't the same after 9/11. It changed. I think it certainly changed the world. You know, because just where the whole, you know, when you have a big lifetime thing like this, whether it's a war, whether it's a pandemic, whether it's a big, you know, national disaster, world disaster, it does change. It changes people's mindset, and the change is good. You know, obviously we wish we didn't have all these to make it change, but if you don't change, you don't evolve, and if we don't evolve, we stand still. And standing still, whether it's in business or personal, you know, you've got to come out of things with a brighter prospect, haven't you?
Of course. I think it was, it might have even been Warren Buffett that said, living is making plans, life is what makes you cancel them, which I love. I might even have that written somewhere.
Sounds like Buffett.
Yeah, well, he says a lot. He's quite a philosophical bloke. So we're going to come into a bit of a close now. Like I say, I like to keep these episodes short and sharp, but I probably will like to revisit this chat at a later date. Maybe when we break the 100 mark, and I can then see how people are doing post lockdown. Now, something I always like to wrap up with, Richard, is a question.
Okay.
I ask everyone, and we're about week 6 now. We are midway through week 6. I'm pretty sure we are. Yeah. For those of you that don't know where we're at, we're in we're in the later start of April. So we're about to come into May, the 30th of April. If you go back in time, kind of grab yourself by the shoulders and go, Richard, I've got this advice for you. Don't do this or do this. What advice, one bit of advice, would you give yourself right at the beginning, the day we were told, stop everything, you're staying at home? What would you tell yourself?
Do you know what? I don't think I would do much different. I don't think, you know, from a bit, so look at it from a personal point of view, there's not a lot you can do. We're stuck in. I would probably, from a business point of view, do you know what? I don't think I would just say, just roll with it. Just, you know, just go with it. Just do what you can, because I don't think I would have changed anything in my business. I've been building an online membership platform since September of last year anyway. So that's been building anyway. So there's not there. I guess, yeah. I think, you know, trying to serve the online community as well, but I don't think I would have changed much. Yeah, no, I'm going to be really boring, Jerry, and say no, nothing really. I'm not saying I've done everything right, and you know, and I'll tell you what I would have said. I would have said on the 29th of April, do not spend 2 hours editing a video for you to then delete, because that's what I did yesterday. So that's my biggest advice is don't wake up on the 29th of April, because I was editing, I was putting the captions on and editing this video yesterday, and it went completely wrong after about an hour. So apart from that, all good. All good.
But you learned something.
Learn that actually pre-lockdown I would have outsourced that, because I had a little bit more time yesterday. I did it myself. So yeah, that's my key. Stick to what you're good at.
There you go. Stick to what you're good at. There's your answer. And there's a lot that can be said there. So Richard, quickly, for those of us that do want to find you and your services, give us a quick list of where we can find you.
So you can find me on all the socials. To be honest, I do most things on socials, but Facebook is really, I mean, with marketing, my last little bit, marketing goes like that. I generally go where, you know, as Gary V, who you mentioned earlier, I think in our preacher, as Gary Vaynerchuk says, you go with the attention. So at the moment, the attention is on Facebook. Everybody's on Facebook. I've done the last few years, Facebook's where it's at. So search me on there, Richard Pond Marketing on there, or Instagram, LinkedIn, all the socials, and or on my website, richardpond.com. So,
brilliant. We will put all of your links in the show notes, Richard, which I really do appreciate. Just to round up, you know, I can seriously resonate with the work-life balance that you mentioned as well. And the biggest take home from this episode is, no matter what, guys, it doesn't even matter if you're in business, to be honest, there is something you can be doing to make progress in this time. And I love the fact that you touched on that. You know, I really, really think that this is a time to grow, and that everybody can find something, even if it is just exploring your own inner peace right now. There is something that you can be doing. Guys, you know what? Big thing. If you have enjoyed this episode, please do press that share button. Please do share this for other people to get involved in. If you'd like to get in contact with either me or Richard, follow the links below, or do comment in the comments box. Failing that, if you do want to get in touch with me, you know, I think, Richard, you're about number 34 of interviews out of 100 right now that I would love to reach by the end of lockdown, and I think I will. If you'd like to get in contact, please comment in the comments below, or do get in contact via our Facebook page, which is ABC Gym. Again, the links are all in the show notes. But for now, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.